Well, hello there, Let's Watchers. Fancy
Hey,
meeting you here.
Do either of you guys know what we did wrong the last time we recorded an episode? I'm curious to see if anyone else noticed it, because it took me a full day, and I didn't hear from either of you about it.
No. Clearly we never realized it.
Clearly. So, we were recording Strong Week episodes during Strong Week, right?
Oh, you did
And then
mention
we
this on the
recorded-
stream.
Yeah, then we recorded an additional episode so we'd have something to put on the end of the last episode of Strong Week. And then at the end of that episode that doesn't air during Strong Week, we said have a happy Strong Week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, you know, that's not confusing to anyone.
Great, it's perfect.
Very professional.
It's just as we do.
Yeah, it's not unexpected, it's just disappointing, you know? And I think that's the reception our fans have come to expect from the content that they inexplicably follow on YouTube.
Yep. Not unexpected, just disappointing.
You have so many good taglines. You're so good at not being good at things. You're good for something, but not for something good.
Speaking of something that is good, I am currently on the 11th hour arc of Adventure Zone, and it is choice.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Why did you go behind the wall?
Why did she
That
go
ruins
behind the wall?
everything.
No, just triangle.
Great.
Yeah, perfect. It's good.
No.
She's so
my
close to it that
goodness.
she'll never get out of
It's
there.
like, I know, that's like the worst possible spot to be in.
I mean, you could
Like
just
the
kill the
whole
leader and
map.
be done with it.
Yep, doing that.
Yeah, it
Speaking
is
of
great.
11th hours, our save file says we've been playing this for like 11 hours and like 5 minutes or something
Wow.
on this particular playthrough.
How many hours of our lives do you think that we have dedicated to this one game?
I don't know. You know what I keep meaning to do? There
What?
is someone who I'm less familiar with, but comments somewhat regularly, and keeps commenting on our new Resonance of Fate videos about Neverland.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
we did Neverland. Like, we're obviously not there yet in this playthrough, but like, we've done it before.
Did we
And
do
like,
all of
I
it?
kept meaning to like, yeah, we finished it. And so I kept
Yeah.
meaning to like post a link, but like
Here we
the
go.
pretty much the entirety of 2019 has still been just like a non-stop oyster carnival for me at least. This past Sunday was like the first time I had a moment where I was just sitting and I was like, oh shit, I don't have anything to do. Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, but it took like, what was that, like the 10th or something? It took like 40 days of the year to have one day of that.
Hey,
Yeah, like you
should
did.
I try this boss square?
Yeah, why not? You got something better to do?
You got a controller. I mean, I technically have a controller
as
too,
you
but it
know.
doesn't control anything right now, and I sure as heck can't control the PS4 with voice commands right now. I mean, come on.
No.
Let's not be crazy.
$8,000 suit. I mean, come on.
A question. Have any of you ever actually used the PS4 for voice commands? I wouldn't even know how to trigger it on purpose if
No.
my life depended on
I
it.
specifically don't know how to do it on purpose. I'm always confounded by whatever causes it to, like, think briefly that that's the thing I'm trying to do.
I don't know,
Well-
guys. 3 level 19 hooded gangsters.
I
Is
don't
there,
know.
like,
there,
secretly like
Cotillion.
an 80-foot tall, like, poison robot somewhere?
Man truck is just lurking right off frame.
Yeah, right. I mean, do keep in mind that there's, like, very little bezel recovery, I guess. I don't know. Think that's the idea?
Yeah, I suppose that's the challenge.
Also, he did a lot of damage there.
Well, he's also dead, so...
Yeah. There's other guys who
Airborne.
can shoot.
Airborne!
My estimate is this will actually be closer than it looks. But probably still fine.
Guns him! Guns him with all of your might!
I think more than my concern about how much time I've actually devoted to this game is my concern that, like, I feel like if this past Strong Week was any indication, like, we don't focus very much on the game anymore at this point. We have this, like, presumption that people understand what's going on and just sort of talk. And I think that's fine, but it feels very different.
I mean, it is the second playlist of the same game on the channel.
Right.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
God damn it.
Yeah, I think the trick is that these guys just do, like, more damage than they seem like they should. There's other, like, boss squares I remember being like this and being, like, a nuisance.
Yeah.
I think you could do this, but it might take a few tries.
Yeah, I'm restarting this.
Yeah. Honestly, I was a little surprised by just how little feedback there was on Strong Week. Not that, like, people should all be, like, you know, pooping themselves or whatever, but just, like...
Well, I mean,
I guess I expected more people to, like,
figured.
acknowledge it.
Yeah, I mean, part of it, I just figured that, like, we've been playing this game, and so it's not like people are like, OMG, the game is back.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true, too.
That was sort of my interpretation. But hey, I'm open to anyone's comments.
Are you
also
open to
their
the many
likes
worlds
and their
interpretation?
subscriptions. I am, in fact. I am. You know, some people say it's a lot of baloney because it's unprovable, but you know, I think it's a reasonable thing.
Who says
It's a
it's
possibility.
unprovable? In what way would it be unprovable?
Well, there's really.
It's been a while since I've heard "pick your bones clean." Continue.
You should triangle. Yeah. So it's unprovable because you can't, like, travel to other worlds, so there's no way to know whether or not another world actually exists, and so therefore it's
But
unprovable.
isn't that only unprovable in the present? I mean, like, all science is unprovable at some point in history, and then later becomes provable.
So, I mean, there's no mechanism in physics that would, in current physics, that would allow the theory to be tested.
True, but, like, you could say that about, like, any theory that isn't currently tested. It feels like a weird conclusion to draw is my only point. Because, like, yes, I agree that I don't know of anything that could test it now, and I'm certainly not an expert or anything. But, like, it feels weird for someone to say, like, there will never be a way to test this scientific thing that's a fairly recent theory in the scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I would say it's worth noting. Ooh, that's ballsy. He's gonna do it.
Do it.
Well, it's unclear whether or not he will kill this guy in his destroy attack. It looks likely, but
He's got it.
he's got it. Well done, Cotillion. Well done, as usual.
Oh, perfect.
You.
Are
Oh,
you
bezel
going to pick his
shard.
bones clean now?
You got a bezel shard. I hope you're excited about that.
Did you get it by picking his bones clean? I just want to understand the process, the cause and effect. Do you
Yeah,
wanna save?
bezel shards are actually just
That
made
seems
from
clear.
human
Actually,
bones.
there's a save in the thing, right?
Yeah,
Is there a save in the thing?
There's a save right there.
Yeah, I'll just do that. I was just thinking I would check to see if there are any other boss squares around, because we just need one more shard.
But not all boss squares have shards.
This is
Some of
true.
them have creepy dolls.
I don't understand what's creepy.
Some of the dolls. Like, what if someone just, like, handed you a doll that looked like you, like, today? Like, not just a voodoo doll that looked like you or whatever, but, like, you know, you like, got a paper cut or something, and that somehow registered on it, and it's also wearing your clothes from today, even though you, like, you know, took off your jacket when you came inside or something. It's like, whoa, that's a very specific snapshot of this particular day.
What chapter are we on, by the way?
5?
6 or 7?
I think it's 5. I think we've been on 4
Could
for
be 5?
10,000 years. We're definitely on Flux or Phonix.
Do we want to do this
Oh yeah.
before we do the actual dungeon?
Dude, like you've done like every dungeon for the past like 3 chapters. If you want to like do these things, do them.
You're driving the train there, Cotillion, so...
Well, my thought is if we do this, where's this
What's
guy?
his prize?
Cafe Chelsea.
Freezer grenade?
Well, it's not that. It's that he wants us to unlock the mine, which is where the other scratch damage gun is. So we could
Oh,
just
do we
go
want to
get
get the
another
splash damage gun now? That feels a little ambitious.
I mean, you're meant to do it when you get this quest, because he goes out of his way to be vague and say, "That's all I want done."
I mean, he does go out of his way to do that. I don't know that that has ever been an indication to me that that's the thing that you're supposed to do now.
Well, that's what the guide says.
Interesting. Does the guide cite that as being the reason you're supposed to know that, or is that just your conclusion?
Well, the guide suggests that since he gives you the quest to do it, you should go in and find out what's at the end of the mine, which everybody
That's
knows.
fair.
We all know.
Pew pew pew. Guns, guns, guns.
I don't really remember what level was appropriate for that, because we just sort of did it whenever, I think. What's the company that makes this guide, by the way? Is it properly like a Prima strategy guide?
Yeah, it's old school.
Do they still exist?
Prima guide. No, I had to get that off Amazon/eBay a long time ago.
Oh, Prima. R.I.P.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I know this, Cotillion. Like, what was it that got you interested in this game?
That's a great question.
I don't know, probably the same thing that got you guys interested in it. I had it, I owned it, but I never finished it.
But, like, how did you hear about it? Because, like,
Oh.
I went super deep to find out about it in the first place.
I've been trolling video game websites for a very, very long time. I'm sure I saw this on GameSpot back in the day.
Hmm.
In fact, I know I did because I can remember the review.
What was the review?
Did they give it like 3 question marks out of 10? They're like, maybe this is good. I don't know how to play it.
I don't remember the review specifically. I remember the reviewer, because he was every game that I was interested in, he would wind up reviewing them, and he'd always nitpick the smallest thing. And I never agreed with him, but he was always the person that reviewed the games that I cared about.
Huh.
So it sounds like me.
No, I don't know if you guys ever played The Force Unleashed back in the day.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
actually.
that's a great game.
He nitpicked the camera controls in that like crazy.
Really?
That was like his biggest flaw in that game, is the camera controls are terrible. I'm like, they're camera controls. They're not that bad. Like,
I don't remember the camera controls being... The only time I remember the camera controls being a major problem is when I was trying to unlock the black lightsaber, which is hidden at the top of some spot in, You should get Zephyr the fuck out of there. Yeah. He is going to die.
That triangle, though. It's so good.
I mean, you could not. You could probably, like, do a run back with Leanne and end up with 1 bezel after Zephyr gets killed, but... He is, not so good.
I don't know, man. I still don't understand the whole, like, the nuances of determining how many, like, bezels you lose when you...
Oh, no, I still fucking
Take, like,
have no
lethal
clue
damage.
how that works. Yeah, so the only time I really found the camera frustrating was when I was trying to unlock the black lightsaber, which is at the, like, the top of a spot in, the like, end of the game, and you could unlock it for, like, future playthroughs. It was badass.
What was do you remember what the Star Wars game was that came out around the time that we were in college? Tech, that, like... I remember there was, like, a sort of normal version that was, like, had, like, a mediocre reception, to my recollection, but then there was, like, the Wii version. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
the
no.
Force Unleashed.
Was that Force Awakens? Oh,
Yep. Force
Force
Unleashed, yeah.
Awakens.
So it was basically just like it was a fun game where you got to play as like a Sith in training who
you
was
were
like
Darth Vader's
apprentice.
Yeah.
And good too. You like dual wielded lightsabers, and you like held them backwards. Like it was, and you like had a lot of really crazy force powers. It was fun.
I liked it. I thought it was really good.
But so they came out. This was right when the Wii was like a big thing, and so
Yeah.
they came out with a Wii version where you actually had to like flail around.
The
But
Skyward Sword of Star Wars games.
yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't what you want.
You know, when I worked on Deadliest Warrior, there was one of the weapons guys said that he had done work with like LucasArts on at least one of the Star Wars video games to like determine how people would fight with swords that were made of light, because you wouldn't do like normal sword fighting fucking at all because they'd be way too light and you would just handle them differently.
Yeah, it's true.
And like I thought that was really cool. I feel like I've heard people complain about some of the like lightsaber choreography in recent years when I feel like they've probably got a new regime working on that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing about lightsabers that's different from regular swords is that they have no blade in a specific direction. So when you're trying to hit something with a sword, you're turning your wrist in such a way so that the sharp edge is always pointing towards the thing you're slashing at. But when you're using a lightsaber, it doesn't matter because the sharp edge is everywhere.
Yeah.
Which really, it's actually, like, obviously the weight plays a huge role, but it actually dramatically changes how you swing and what you can do, and how quickly you can move. This is a thing that I have discovered by playing Beat Saber, actually, is because, you know, having done a lot of actual things with bladed weapons, you know, I fenced for a long time, and I studied some rapier and some broadsword, stuff like that, for a very brief time. There's a lot of training that I'm like trying to unlearn because it's slowing me down, because I'm spending so much time, you know, rotating my wrist so that I'm cutting with my knuckles towards the thing I'm cutting at. But this is not something you have to do with a lightsaber, which it was really interesting to discover for me.
Yeah, but now when you're in like a real life sword fight, like you're gonna be totally fucked. Aren't you concerned
It's true.
about that?
The next time I am in a real
about
sword
the
fight,
likelihood of you being in a real sword fight?
yes, I have thought about this, and I'm very concerned. Beat Saber actually just came out with Expert Plus mode for the PSVR. It is bonkers. It is straight up bonkers. I can beat every song on Expert with ease is not the word. Like I've only 100%ed one of them.
Just like consistently?
Yeah, but I've missed like 2 or 3 blocks per song when I play. Expert Plus, I have completed 1 song. I can get through no other song, and I spent a good 40 minutes this morning trying.
Well, I mean, it's not just Expert, it's Expert Plus. You'd have to assume that's like a double increase in difficulty.
This is a European hard mode sort of situation. It's too much. It's too much. But you know what? I'm determined. And with the impending snow, I might have a very chill day tomorrow, so perhaps I will catch up on my Beat Saber.
Yeah, you've talked about it for a long time, and I think you've like even sent me some videos I haven't watched because I'm terrible about doing that, especially through my phone.
What a bad friend you are.
Yeah, I'm a terrible friend. So like I still have no real concept of how the game works. So you're like, yeah, I can miss like 1 or 2 blocks. I'm like, yes, sure. You know, laser sword song blocks, of course.
I mean, it's
I think I saw this at the Grammys last night. Hashtag dating this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, you know, you blocks are coming at you. You gotta hit them in the right order and in the right direction.
Here, take my jacket.
Thanks, but I'll be okay if I keep moving.
Oh, really?
That's so sassy. What's so sassy? Alright, it's Chili Dog! Sonic the Hedgehog's favorite snack from the 90s cartoon.
Oh, a chili dog. He's cold. Woof. Do you think that the dog itself is chilly? Or do you think that, like, it instills chilliness in its victims? Do you think it's, like, constantly, like, uncomfortable?
Well, I mean, there's also the third option that it's a dog that's, like, bred to live in a chilly environment, which seems likely, but I don't know.
These are important questions.
It seems, like, really mean-spirited to bring just, like, a regular-ass dog to this actual, like, run-in freezer. By the way, who built this run-in freezer, and why aren't there more things in it?
It's a great question.
Like, why is there, like, one, like, case of wine or whatever? Is it literally just the 2 bottles, or is it, like, a case with some bottles in it? I don't remember.
I think they only find 2.
So it's like that, and then, like, the medicine from, like, the next chapter.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the medicine.
And, like, those, as far as I can recall, are the only, like, things stored in the cold storage that is a massive run-in freezer that, for some reason, is also filled with gangsters. Like, it doesn't actually make any sense. Like, if it was just, like, animals here, if it was, like, you know, wild dogs and yetis and stuff, it would make some amount of sense, right? Like...
Yeah, like they broke in to eat the food.
Yeah, but, like, why would people try to live in a freezer environment? And if they don't live here, why did they happen to come here at exactly the same time you did? Have they just finished stealing all the things that weren't those 3 items I just mentioned? It still
Apparently.
also feels pretty convenient.
Nice jump.
I thought for sure I missed it.
Yeah, I also thought for sure that you missed it, but then you did not.
I have sufficient lag, I really wasn't sure. But I had faith in you.
Somebody did.
Go team. This is it.
Yep.
In case you were wondering.
So, during this past weekend where I really had
The
some
last bullet.
Obviously. I always love it when someone dies, like, after your turn. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, like, because I had some actual time to myself this weekend, I finally watched a movie I've wanted to see for about 2 years and just kept forgetting. But, like, its sequel is about to come out, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. Which is Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day.
Have you not heard of it? It was, like,
No, what's-
kind of well-known. It wasn't, like, super successful.
What's the
They're making
sequel
it
called?
Happy Death Day to You.
This isn't. I've never heard of any of this.
So, the premise is basically slasher movie Groundhog Day.
Oh,
There's,
like
like,
there's a slasher
there's-
and he kills you and then you are alive again
Well,
and he
there's
kills
like
you again?
there's a college girl, and she's kind of like a terrible person, and she just like wakes up this one day and it's normal, and at the end of the day a slasher kills her, and she wakes up and it's yesterday, and then it keeps happening. And so like she has to figure out who it is so that she can stop them from killing her.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Right? Like, I really like that idea. I mean, I'm very partial. Like, if there was a genre that I had to choose as my favorite thing, it would be Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
Like,
Groundhog
Day applied to almost anything is, like, my favorite thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't typically like horror movies, and especially not slasher movies, but I did quite enjoy this. I was actually really pleasantly surprised that they found, like, a different angle to doing a Groundhog Day. 'Cause, like, so many of the Groundhog Day scenarios that I'm used to are like someone just in pretty short order just sort of like gets it. They're like, oh, okay, then I will just like try and change all of these little things. But like the story takes place on this sort of like macro scale where like she really just cares about not dying, which makes sense.
Yep.
And so like the impetus to change things that would like affect other parts of the day comes really slowly. But like it feels really genuine to her character because she's such like the self-absorbed awful person at the start.
Right.
That like it makes sense that she's not suddenly trying to like, you know, inflict like positive changes to everyone around her or whatever.
Right.
Like I don't know, it's just a little bit different and I liked it.
She's
I
not,
will say don't
She's not saving the boy from the tree or hugging Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, exactly. Not that sort of thing. I will say, don't look up the trailer for Happy Death Day to You before seeing the first one, because it has an incredibly large spoiler in it for no reason.
It's hilarious.
It's really silly.
Oops.
But yeah, I'm excited for that, even though, I don't know, if I had to give, like, an honest, like, rating to the first one, I'd say, like, probably like a B or B+. Like, I want it to be better, but, like, I'm just partial to those things, so I liked it anyway. But, still excited for the second one. The second one, multiple people are experiencing a Groundhog Day simultaneously, which I don't know if I can recall an experience like that. Oh, no, wait,
Yeah.
Dark Matter did an episode like that.
Did they?
Yeah.
So,
Some weird space clock.
it's funny you should mention it. The current arc of the Adventure Zone that I'm listening to is a Groundhog Day scenario.
Oh, is that why it's 11th hour? Mm-hmm. It's like you have to have everything done by the 11th hour or something, and then it resets?
Well, no, so they show up into a... They go into a town that's in a time bubble, trying to find a, artifact that, manipulates time. And they,
And there's a moon with an angry face on it, gradually...
Uh-huh.
No?
I mean, they actually mentioned Majora's Mask.
They
in it. They
slammed
were like, did you base this on Majora's Mask? Anyway, so they, show up at the town at 11 a.m., and the town is completely destroyed and kills them at noon every day.
But when does it reset them? Like, when they came in?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have, an hour?
Yeah.
Yep.
God, it's like the end to, the first Life is Strange. There's this part where, because Life is Strange has this, conceit of, time travel things happening in it, there are occasionally things where, you're on a loop, and if you screw up, it just kicks you back to the start of the loop. But there was this one point, and I got so unbelievably frustrated with this, where, it's, near the end of, the 5th chapter, so, near the end of the game, I think. And there's this disaster hits the town, and there's, basically this, trail of gasoline that's, on fire, and it's gonna cause this big explosion. But you have, 7 seconds or something to figure out what to do. And for some reason, the interface is, really finicky, and so there's this, really specific spot you have to stand on to do a really specific thing, and it won't prompt you to do the button all the time. So, I, checked this thing, 5 times, and then, it didn't work. And, I just kept looking around for more stuff, but every, 7 seconds, it was, kicking me back to the start of the sequence, and it was just just kill me. This is terrible.
That's not enough time. You know, they're called walkers. They're called walkers. They don't do much walking.
They do a lot of balking, though. They do some stomping. They do some good stomp work. Oh man, can we somehow orchestrate someone to genetically engineer balkers so that we can have, a rendition of the 90s Broadway sensation Stomp with only balkers? How much
Good
money
plan.
does that cost?
Can't be that much. 5?
Maybe
money?
10?
Yeah. Not that much. Come on. It's from the 90s.
How do you think money works, Tech?
Numbers.
Oh, we should have brought you a coat.
You know, exchange for goods and services.
Yeah.
Her Highness.
I tell you what, guys, my only regret is that I have bonitis.
I also regret my bonitis.
I really enjoyed that episode of Futurama just because of how, it's such a great way to, reset the sitcom world, but also just, the most idiotic way for a character to die.
It's just a really good show in general.
It's an amazing show. But for those who don't know the episode I'm talking about, or haven't seen it in a really long time, basically they encounter this character who is I think he was an 80s, Wall Street guy, and he froze himself because he had some, terrible disease called bonitis, And, like, the idea is he would be thawed out when they found a cure. And they have a cure in the future, where Futurama is set. And he just, like, immediately goes back to just, like, partying it up and being super irresponsible or whatever, the way he was doing back in the 80s. And then he just dies of bonitis because he forgets to get cured of it. It's just... And so when he dies, he says, "My only regret is that I have bonitis." And then he dies.
I forgot about that. I remember the line, but I did not remember the circumstances.
It's so stupid. Such a good show.
Quality stuff. You know, I'm beginning to think that Zephyr has like an eating disorder or something. He's very concerned with other people eating things. Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
he's
true.
a feeder.
That is sort of a... He's a what?
A feeder.
Feeder?
Yeah, you know, it's like a fetish.
Oh, okay. Like, the opposite of vor? Or no? Wouldn't that be vor?
No, a
Is that
feeder's
someone
like
who's interested in vor?
someone who's interested in like watching other people eat things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a fetish for everything, everybody.
Yeah. More or less Rule 34.
What the hell
Did you
was
see that?
That was entertaining.
Amazing. He like killed the guy and then hopped forward, readied his gun, and like snapped it back and forth a couple times without actually pulling the trigger.
You gotta give him a show, you know?
You guys, when are we gonna see a Resonance of Fate movie with Nathan Fillion playing Vacheron?
First, we have to introduce Nathan Fillion to the concept of Resonance of Fate. Then I feel like he'll do all the rest of the work.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I would love to see Nathan Fillion doing that like spinny fist maraca Roomba.
Can you imagine trying to fit that into like an
Shaking.
actual American movie?
Oh my god, it would be so good.
It'd be incredible. So you're gonna try and finish this room and leave the rest to Tek then, Nathan Fillion? Is that the plan?
Yep. Sounds
Okay.
like
That's
they're
how we
good.
do.
That'll
That's how we
finish
do
this run
here
of
at the
dungeon.
Renegade Constabulary. Is
like weird hallway
leave it to
construction.
someone else. Pew pew pew.
I mean, the half-hour restriction on this like weirdly prohibitive game does sort of enable that, but at the same time, yeah, we've gotten real good at it, at not resolving our own situation. You know, I kind of wish that like the gangsters that were here had like parkas or something. Like, I don't
Because,
feel
like,
like it would
it's
take that
cold
much
there?
to like just like give a little touch to like make it seem like this is an enemy that belongs in the freezer. Per my earlier complaint of like, why are there guys living in the freezer?
Yeah, it's a good point. You airborne to that fucker.
Do you think that they just like eat Walker meat? There's like nothing else here. Like, this ecosystem is perplexing.
It is very perplexing. And like, how do they cook it? It would all be like frozen.
I guess they get
Zephyr
another
is-
Walker to fire sparks at the one. Does that work? Is that science? No, wait, we can't test that, so it's impossible.
It's definitely science.
Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me. After watching Happy Death Day, I like looked up the actress because I think she's like amazing in that movie. I think she is like one of the best parts of that movie by a lot. And she stars in another movie that the logline starts with "From the creator of The Lost Room," and I was like,
Oh boy.
"What?"
Excuse me? You mean
You have
you
my
mean
full
God?
attention. The movie is called Parallels, and it's about a building that somehow like simultaneously overlaps every like parallel universe. Thus, tying back to the previous discussion.
Oh.
And of course, that sounds kind of like the key from The Lost Room, which has that weird
Yeah.
principle of like this room sort of exists just outside of every room that exists.
Yeah, as you said, you have my full attention.
Yeah. I will admit that I watched a trailer and it didn't look great, but I am probably just gonna watch that movie.
Is it like something that's coming out soon, or just something that you discovered?
Something I discovered. I don't remember when it came out, but it's out.
Googling.
I came across it on Amazon Prime because that's where I watched the other one, and it was like a recommended movie because it had the same actors in it.
Oop, I spelled it wrong, but it's fine. Parallels. It got 87% on IMDb.
Really? Okay, that's promising.
Similar movies are The One with Jet Li, Guardians of the
Interesting.
Galaxy, Pacific Rim, The
What?
Maze Runner, and The Clone Wars.
Wow, that's quite a hodgepodge there. That combination of similar movies.
Yes,
I don't know what
indeed,
to
yes,
make
indeed.
of that.
Wikipedia says it's a 2015 American science fiction adventure film originally conceived as a television pilot derived from a story by Christopher Leone and Laura Harcum. Blah blah blah. People stars as they're thrown into an alternate Earths that range from subtly different to post-apocalyptic. It was released in March 2015 on the Netflix streaming service.
Really? Is it still on there?
Oh,
Because you have to like,
Messed up.
it was announced in.
you could kill it, somehow.
It was announced in November of 2016 that Neil Gaiman would be collaborating with Christopher Leone and Albert Kim to adapt the teaser/trailer movie into a TV series titled The Building.
Huh. That was announced after the movie came out?
Yeah, hold
2016?
on.
I'm not sure which is more interesting to me right now. Trying to watch Cotillion salvage this, which I think is possible, or this movie by that guy who made a TV miniseries that I love more than almost anything.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. So when I search Parallels on Netflix, nothing comes up.
Okay. But it was like produced by Netflix originally, or did they just like
It was
distribute
released on Netflix. I don't know. I don't know.
Nice work, Cotillion. You got
Thanks.
balked a little bit, but you know, it happens.
I mean, who hasn't been balked at once in their life?
I've been balked at many times. And on that bombshell, this episode's already running a little long.
Yep.
So we'll probably see you again soon. Thank you for
Join us
watching,
then.
guys.
Bye. Okay, so I watch a lot of YouTube
As do
throughout
I.
all of my days, and
Wait,
I get
Yeah.
wait. You guys watch YouTube?
It's weird,
Yeah.
right?
and I get
This?
Not just a
advertisements
member, I'm the
for-
president.
Wow, really?
Yeah, president of YouTube. Go me.
Let me get a couple 100 million.
Whoa, I feel like last time we were talking about, like, genetically engineering balkers for the purpose of a Broadway play, and that was only going to cost like 5 or 10.
Well, the price has gone up.
Apparently. Pray you guys don't alter the deal any further.